Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Magic in the Matrix. I'm your host, Kelsey White, and here I am with
Alexander Fox.
today's episode is a wonderful, exciting episode on the topic of grounding. But first, I want to tell you something fun that I told my friends at work. Okay,
What did you tell your
so
friends at work?
I don't know. So maybe just because I'm getting my throat chakra so activated doing this podcasting now, but I think I'd be a really good rapper. Do you think I'd be a good rapper?
Your appearance, maybe people would question, like, who's this white girl? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but
I
you
see.
definitely would get some interest of like, can this white girl rap?
That's, you know what? I like a challenge. I
Can
think
she can she be the next like Lil Kim?
I could be the nut Lil Kels. Okay, to note, first of all, I have a pit bull. That's a little bit of street cred. Secondly, I'm from Aurora, a little more street cred. Thirdly, I speak very quickly. Guys, like I try to speak and enunciate a little bit more just to like do you well doing a podcast, but then it's like, can I enunciate rapping? It's hard.
Mm.
If you ever just sit at your home and rap, do you? It's hard. Like I'm just in there like trying to keep up with the song and I'm like, wow, this is talent.
You know, I have rapped before.
Sh-
It's it's very rare, but
There he
like
drops it. Secret rapper?
sometimes it can come out.
Okay, so Patreon exclusive in the future is either an Alexander rap or an Alexander and Kelsey rap battle. Was good.
Oh my God, you want to do a rap battle?
Yeah,
I'm
I
definitely
do.
going in the lab and write some words.
I'm gonna do like all those exercises to enunciate and then just like flow beats, flow lyrics, flow poetry, poetry slam. Yeah, I think it's on and I would bet on me. Okay.
What will our viewers bet? And then the winner, all their money goes to charity.
Oh, I love it. Okay,
Mm,
guys, it's on. We'll be back to you with the schedule for the rap battle, but for now, we'll move on to grounding.
mm.
Totally change of pace here. All right. So what even is grounding, right? Like we hear about it a lot, but from your perspective, what is grounding?
Grounding is being able to connect your body to the ground. It's being able to feel the energies of like Mother Gaia on a spiritual level, but being
Mhm.
able to really be in your body and not be so much up in here, the mind,
Mm.
where a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of fear like happens where we tend to overthink or we get into these rabbit holes. Those go deep for my people who
Mhm.
search things at 3 a.m. And when we are spending so much time up in here, it gets annoying. We get worried and you can get stressed out. And it's like, what do we do? And if we can really just get grounded, being um on the focus of our feet in like the ground, the concrete, the blacktop, the grass, even the floor, or maybe even the ceiling, and then just imagining yourself like maybe being a rock or maybe being like roots to a tree and just shifting your awareness just into your heart center or even into your gut, your stomach, your dantian, and yeah, and just feeling more heavy
I like it.
energetically.
What's a Dantian for those of us who do not know what Dantian means?
Ooh, it is like a spiritual, energetic center that's basically in between your hips and your solar plexus. They talk about the Dantian in Qigong or
Mm.
in Tai Chi.
Beautiful. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think that overview was just excellent, right? And like the keywords kind of getting out of your monkey mind and your worries and your anxiety and the future and back into the present moment and your present physical wisdom, right? Like I always talk about the inordinate power and wisdom that our body holds. But if you're so far in your head or just outside of your body, in the future, even like outside of the present moment, then you can't tap into that wisdom. So I think like a lot of times this grounding is just bringing us into this calm, like very centered wisdom flow state to sort of like tap into like, hey, am I on the right track? Am I aligning? Am I, happy? Am I needing to adjust? Like, how can you even tune into what you really want to kind of do next if you're not even clear on sort of where you are in this like matrix that we're in?
Ooh,
So
that goes hand in hand with what we just talked about with manifestation.
absolutely. And that's what I think people think of grounding just to like calm your nervous system, which I think is like exhibit A, right? Like calm your nervous system. No one likes to feel stressed and like you're kind of in this low vibe state when you're really activated from a nervous or anxious perspective, right? Like you're frustrated, you're like dropping things and you're frazzled and you can't think clearly. But even beyond that, right? Like how can you have any sort of empowerment beyond just like this minutia of your day to day if you can't tap
Mm.
into your inner wisdom? And that's why I think grounding is even more important than the like quick fix of just feeling a little bit better. It's like it's how to tap into your higher self and the universal consciousness, which is always present for you, right?
Mm.
So yeah, I think grounding is more important than we think, and it's such a cheat code. I love to talk cheat codes because I don't have a lot of free time, but grounding will get you right back there. Awesome. All right. So tell me a little bit about some paths you get to ground. Like how do you do it? What are some tools for people to ground themselves?
Absolutely. For grounding, if you can place both your feet firmly on the ground, maybe put a little micro bend in your knees if you're standing, or if you're sitting, then your knees will already be bent. And imagine like roots coming out of your feet and just going into Mother Gaia. And if you want to, you can do this with us now, unless you're driving. And imagine that these roots are strong and they have a lot of endurance, a lot of durability, and they're finding their home on this planet, in this planet, and knowing that you are with Mother Gaia and Mother Gaia has your back and your feet, your whole being,
And the
and
whole being casual.
just every part of you, you know. And when we can really like feel into this with like all of our awareness, all of our presence, then like we really start to feel that love, that energetic connection to um really be with us. And then eventually imagine it traveling back up into your feet, just the energy. Your roots will stay, of course, but then the energy is traveling all the way up through your legs and torso to the crown of your head, and maybe even out of your crown like a fountain where the water comes out and it goes right back down into the pool. And then you just keep like recycling that energy, that
Mm.
Mother Gaia earth energy. And that'll really help calm your nervous system. It'll bring more inner peace. You'll get out of your monkey mind, racing thoughts, and you're going to be so present in this now moment that literally is a superpower for how you can like navigate yourself and even navigating the world.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm feeling grounded
Wow.
just talking about it, right? Like my feet are firmly planted on the ground here. Usually I'm just fidgeting. Well, I'm still fidgeting, but they're firmly planted. Awesome. Well, I think the grounding techniques you just shared, like they're a little more esoteric, right? So I'm going to share a few that are just like super practical.
Please
And
do.
the first one is my personal favorite and my absolute constant need, and that is to eat. Eating is grounding. And if you think about it, right? Eating is bringing energy down to your digestive tract. And you're producing energy like that's embodied to work through this like physical form that's now a part of your body, and your juices are flowing to digest that. But you're literally bringing energy down, right? Grounding, you're bringing energy down to your lower chakras, your root chakra. If you listen to our chakra episode, or if you haven't, go check it out. You're embodied, you're physically nourishing yourself, you're physically processing that. So it's hard to have all your energy up in the top of your head when your energy's down in your stomach. You can go out in nature, right? So almost everyone, I know I've heard some people be like, I freaking hate hiking, but a lot of people love to just be out on a mountain or be out in nature. And they're like, wow, even if you don't do it a lot, you get out and you're like, wow, I feel amazing. Like, why don't I do this more, right? And so there's something called the Schumann resonance, which is about 7.83 hertz. And this isn't like some hippy dippy thing. This is like you can measure it. And this is the frequency that actually the earth emanates, right? So if you kind of get out from all the stimuli of big cities and things and you measure the vibration of the earth of a mountain, that's going to come out to this number. And that's called the Schumann resonance. And so what your body wants to do out in nature, so you're kind of your body is your frequency is changing a lot. We talk about this a lot. But your body wants to find homeostasis with this Schumann resonance or with the earth, with Mother Gaia. I would contend that potentially Gaia consciousness is somehow related to this Schumann resonance, although I don't know that for sure. Right? So your body is seeking to find this homeostasis with this 7.83 hertz, which is this like low, undulating, like humming, right? And so as your body is kind of tuning in and calibrating to try to get back into this lower humming, right? Your nervous system's coming way down. Your energy is coming into your body. You're feeling much more calm, centered, aligned. Even sometimes you go to a spa and you hear the music in the waiting room or in your treatment room or whatever is like this like low humming. And I'm not sure if that's 7.83 hertz, but there's a couple hertzes that feel really good. We won't get to all of them. But really, like your body is trying to find this homeostasis or this like calibration and equality into these like much more grounded, beautiful, centered resonances. And so, like, get out in nature if you can. Sometimes this is just a fun fact, but a lot of people are like, why are woo-woo people into crystals? And it's the same theory, right? So crystals have their own energy. And some of them, there's all these kind of metaphysical thoughts around like the colors, if they absorb, energy or not. But either way, your body is trying to find homeostasis. And the crystal has this very consistent energetic pattern. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening, Alexander is holding up a crystal tree with all of the colors represented. So a little cheat code for your chakra activation. But right, like this crystal has this like more consistent energy and your body is like, hey, this is fun. Like, let me calibrate here. And so you feel like much more in tune with that energy. So any way to get in nature. So if that's more kind of through visualization, right? Like you're literally thinking a little bit more about your roots coming out of your feet and then tapping into this like grounded earth consciousness, or you're literally in nature, or you're gardening, right? Like you're touching the soil, you're in it. But it doesn't have to be so literal with nature, right? Like you can just like take these deep breaths and just like bring that down. Again, it's all this like movement down, down to get into your body. If you're doing a lot of spiritual work, I'll let you opine, Alexander, in a little bit because spiritual work brings your energy up, right? Like think of your third eye is channeling kind of your own intuition. This crown chakra, it's helping connect you with the source consciousness or this collective greater consciousness, your guides and angels. That's really cool and epic energy to connect with, but it's high, right? And so, like, kind of a side effect from a lot of spiritual work can be that people get very ungrounded. So sometimes you see really spiritual people and they're like losing all their stuff and they're late, right? They're kind of forget about time and they're maybe like a little queasy or they forget to eat, da, da, da. Like these side effects, right? So you maybe they're really enjoying this like higher minded perspective, but they're kind of forgetting to get energy into their lower physical center. And that's kind of lacking the wisdom from Gaia consciousness and your body's consciousness. Have you experienced this lately?
Yeah, actually, I have. And I won't lie, it kind of sucks when there's so much energy. It feels like if anyone remembers the Airhead commercials growing up, like where the guy would tie a tie like around his neck and eat an airhead, and then like their whole head would go red and become a balloon.
Mhm.
Then they let it go. Sometimes my head feels like it's in a pressure cooker like that.
Aw.
Yeah, because I do a lot of energy healing and a lot of breath work. So it's a lot of high vibes. And I got to remember to ground, and I'm doing better with it. It's just energies are getting more intense lately. Sometimes I may even have to like put my head in the sand or like dig a hole in my garden and then just like sit in it or something.
Heck yeah. Wow.
I'm lightweight joking. So
Head in the sand can be good and bad depending on what we mean. But I mean, imagine those people at the beach where you're like burying your friends. They must be pretty grounded.
they are super grounded.
Their Earth consciousness is like, what's up?
And then their friends just like leave them and then they kind of get like, hey guys,
Oh, hello? Remember? I'm here. That's funny.
I don't have to be grounded that much anymore. I'm good.
Officially grounded, like the Harry Potter mischief managed. I'm a millennial guy. I'm sorry, I'm like the Harry Potter person. I guess the one thing I want to note for you guys, so like we talked about some strategies going into a mountain, like doing this meditation, da da da. You can ground quickly. So maybe the best grounding would be out on a mountain meditating and envisioning, tree roots coming from your feet. But if you're walking into, oh my gosh, I just got a God ring in my ear. So this is important. If you're walking into kind of a stressful environment, like maybe it's a new social thing or a date, actually, no, yay, or a really nervous, or a meeting that you're really nervous about, like something where you're going to feel a little bit activated, you can ground very quickly on the way in, or even sitting in your chair. Just take like a deep breath, or even quietly out if you're by people. Just set an
Mhm.
intention in your head that my intention is to ground. My intention is to ground. And then just kind of think real quickly about your energy flowing down into the lower extremities and the lower part of your body. That's it. Like if that's all you can do, that is so much better than like racing into this meeting or whatever date and feeling stressed and feeling like you needed much more time to do so, because you can accomplish that really quickly. And those little adjustments, even if it's throughout your day while you're a little bit stressed, they make all the difference.
Mm.
Gorgeous.
Truly, yeah, truly they do. I love how you explain that.
Thanks. All right. So we wanted to share some anecdotes about, so tell me if you've ever been very grounded or very ungrounded. Like what happened? How did, like in the real lived experience of you, Alexander Fox, what happened?
Okay, I'll share a story about where I was like, um, I would say I was ungrounded, and it was like a moment like where I was like in my head because I was thinking a lot. I was in school, sophomore, junior year of high school, and like I was about to go to like my next class, but the period was just about to end. So like I was in the hallway by myself, and all of a sudden, just casually walking down the hallway, everything's normal, and my right ear pops, and then like the right side of my body kind of goes like numb, or
Oh,
kind of like I just kind of like lost feeling, and then like I took a step like totally at a right angle and I slammed my whole body into the lockers because I was just so like uh in my head about so many things, and just boom right into the lockers. And luckily no one saw it, but that was a time like where I was totally ungrounded, not even spiritual at the time,
mhm.
but if I would have been more like focused like on my legs and maybe like not thinking so hard about oh that girl liking me or getting a D on this test and all this stuff, and I'm just like I deserved it, but it made me laugh and it made me like what the fuck just happened, but it was quite an experience.
You heard it here first. He was not slammed into a locker by a bully. It was just his own consciousness being uncalibrated.
My own consciousness was the bully.
You got bullied by your higher mind before you even were super spiritual. Oh my gosh. So I blast up into my upper chakras really easily. He's still laughing. If you're listening on audio only, he is still laughing about being bullied by his own higher mind. Okay, I get the giggles easily, so I can't watch you laugh. I was saying I blast up into my upper chakras like quite easily. It's kind of something if I tune into each of my chakras, my lower chakras block up a lot like very frequently, and the upper ones are just like this clear channel, and I don't have to spend a ton of energy clearing them all the time. But the downside of that, the upside of that is I'm fairly psychic. The downside of that is that I get very ungrounded
Mm.
very quickly. So shout out to my mom because as a kid I fainted a lot. I just no one knew that I really needed to eat
Oh.
constantly. We were like at the doctor thinking, is there a brain issue? And it's like, nah, this little one is just psychic. That she didn't have that conclusion, but that's my new conclusion. In the real world, the glucose changes really quickly, but I really do get quite ungrounded. And so when you add in like for me at like at work, I'll have all these meetings, so I won't eat a lot. I'll be thinking a lot. And I'll also not be spending time grounding or doing a couple deep breaths or visualizing my energy down. So I'll find myself kind of dizzy. That's another sign you're ungrounded. Like you get really dizzy and just
Hmm.
sort of like off. It really is like that feeling right before you faint, but maybe much more subtly. So that's a clue, right? To ground if you're just like just not feeling sharp and I'm feeling dizzy, like I need to ground. But anyway, I was in these meetings getting less grounded, but I wasn't conscious of that. And I start seeing people's auras.
Did you?
I'm trying to, it wasn't the color of their aura, but just literally like their auric field around them. I
Mm-hmm.
started to see
Yes.
everyone's like super clear. Like it was all, they were all white, but it was just around them. And I'm like trying to present and think of these really complicated business solutions. And I'm like, whoa. Okay. And then I'm like noticing, yeah, like the sizes and like undulations of the auras. And I'm like shaking
Oh,
my head, like, okay, whoa, whoa. So yeah, I took like a few deep breaths and kind of like looked down and wrote some stuff. And it was like not, and like I think I had a sip of water. And it wasn't totally that apparent the rest of the meeting, but it was such a funny clue. Like, hey, everyone's aura is popping out in such an overt way that I can hardly think straight. So let me take a breath.
that's probably also a great indication of how well you were doing because
Oh,
their auras were popping up and they're probably like, "Oh, cool." Like we like this girl, like what she's presenting and how she's holding herself.
okay. I didn't think of that, but I'll take the compliment. And I'm like so excited now. Did I do a good job? Like an excellent job, Pam. Thanks. Okay.
Of
I'm now
course.
officially extremely proud. Cool. Well, I'm gonna go ground very shortly by eating some more snacks, as I do. Do you have any more closing thoughts on grounding?
Ooh, working out is also a fantastic way to ground too. We totally forgot to bring that up.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
That's kind of my other cheat code. If you guys don't know me yet, working out is one of my great loves. And as I said, right, like I just blast up and I think it was like an intuitive solve to that, right? Where I just like eat really frequently and work out all the time. But oh, I'm so glad you shared that. Any final thoughts? Because that was excellent.
Hmm. Oh, if you're ever in your head too much, you could give yourself like an energetic shower. You can just like kind of push all or wipe down all this energy just down to the ground. That's like another really great way. And yeah, just be more kind and grateful for your thoughts, even if they're in the worry state or the self-doubt or just having stress about life or whatever. Be more calm and gentle with it the best you can with your breath and just maybe do your best to think about maybe a little positive thing and then like ground that positive thought that you just had so your whole cell or every cell in your body can vibrate at it and feel
Mhm.
it and then you'll start to be even more grounded in a different way.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of these last few comments you shared because they're just so excellent. I'm so glad we had a little more space for you to share those final thoughts. I think I tend to be a bit more punitive to myself with just like getting all anxious. Like I feel like I've really integrated that things are aligning in my favor. Why am I worrying? But it's such a good reminder to just be kind to yourself. Like every bit of your experience is just equally valid. So I'm going to go off and be really kind to all my thoughts, eat, and then most importantly, practice for my rap battle. Yeah. What did we call Ollie before we started? Ollie is my dog, guys.
Oh, I called him OLLIE.
OOOIE. Me and OOOIE are about to pop off on the rap battle. Whoa, you don't even know. But if Ollie switches sides to Alexander, I won't be mad. He loves you too.
Oh, he'll play both sides. He'll have something to say about both of us.
Yeah. All right, I'm off to practice. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to Magic and the Matrix. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, practice your raps, whatever you want. But most importantly, ground. Bye, fam.
Bye, everyone. Have fun with your reps
Love
and grounding.
you.